Hello, you made it to lesson 4. Look at you. Today's lesson is all about getting those great camera angles to make your images extra beautiful. Where and how you hold the camera is very important because you can get a wide variety of shots just by changing up the position of your camera. If you take every single shot from the same exact height, at the same exact angle, they're all going to start looking the same. I'm going to teach you how to get those shots that you've seen and loved, but you don't really know how to get. Shall we learn a little bit about camera angles? The first one, and the one that will come most naturally to you, is shooting at eye level. There is definitely a time and place for this camera angle, but it isn't every time and every place. There are a few tricks to getting great eye level shots. First, you want to make sure that your camera is at your subject's eye level, not just yours. So that means if the baby is in the bassinet, you bend down to get to the eye level of the baby. Next, you'll want to make sure that your camera is straight. To do this, you can make sure that your camera lens is perpendicular to the floor. Any tilting the camera can cause distortion. Remember the MySpace days where we hold the camera way above our faces for all our profile pics? Well, that's an extreme example of distortion, but that's what I'm talking about. Your camera doesn't have to be perfectly perpendicular to the floor at every eye level shot. Just be mindful about the amount of tilt that you have going on. Shooting at eye level is really great for family shots. Now, you can't get to everyone's eye level for the family shots, but it's best to be at the eye level of the person's head who's at the top of the frame. You can see an example in the color photo of mom and baby. Mom is sitting on the bed. I squatted down to get down to her eye level for this shot. Baby's eye level is a little bit lower, and that's fine. Let's take a look at the top photo where big sister is touching baby's nose. I bent over to get down to big sister's eye level. If I was standing up and only pointed the camera down at her, the interaction between big sister and little brother would not have been so close. Big sister would have to look up and she would have felt disjointed from her little brother. Now, look at the photo below that. I love the shot of newborns in the hospital. If your bassinet is like this one and has a nice, clear, clean side, definitely get this shot. First, you want to make sure that you clear out any of the bassinet clutter that may have collected. Then bend down so that your camera is at baby's eye level. Straighten your camera so that it is perpendicular to the floor and parallel to that side of the basket. Keeping your camera parallel to the side of the bassinet creates a nice clean line and eliminates distortion. Photographing baby directly overhead is another great camera angle. This is not limited to just solo shots of baby, but it's also great when someone is holding baby. To get a great overhead shot, try to get your camera lens as close to parallel to the ground as possible. So this means if you zoom out, you should be able to see part of the floor in these photographs. Just like eye level shots, the way that you hold your camera makes a big difference. We want to try to eliminate distortion, so you want to make sure that your lens is as parallel to the ground as you can get it. See the photo in the upper right corner? I got over mom's shoulder and photographed the interaction between mom, big sister, and baby. If I had them look up, the shot would have been completely different. Make sure you try this angle out a few times. It might not work in every situation, but it's a great way to quickly create variety in your images so that they don't all look the same. Back that thing up. Your camera, that is. This has to be the one thing that parents are most reluctant to do. The fear the room is too messy, so all the photos are going to be too tightly cropped. We don't want that. Remember how I told you not to worry too much about what to wear in photos? Well, here it is again. Don't worry too much about your room. Sure, you can move a few things, like getting your tray full of food out of the way, but don't go crazy. You don't have to make the room look perfect. Sure, there'll be piles of linens or a towel or two around, and that's okay. Don't let those little things stop you from telling your child's origin story. It's okay if your room isn't spotless. You have a good excuse not to be cleaning up. So don't worry about those little things. Back up and take a few photos of what's going on. Try a few with your camera perpendicular to the floor. Tilt your camera a bit. Rotate your camera. Make sure you aren't shooting all your photos vertically or all of them horizontally. Take a look at the photo on the left. Baby is crying, grandma's looking for a diaper. This is a real moment. and I think it's a really sweet one to have. Now, take a look at the one on the right. The camera angle is a bit tilted. There's some distortion. There's also a blanket and pillow in the windowsill, but that's okay. This moment really tells a story. If you see a moment, but there's a bit of a mess, snap that photo, because if you get up to clean it up, that moment will be lost and gone. So move that body back up to the edge of the room and tell your story. And that takes us to the end of the lesson and your action steps for today. It's time to start trying to photograph at different angles. Move your camera, move your body, rotate your camera. By doing just one of these things, you will change your photo from snap to snap. Practice photographing at all different angles. Start trying to be mindful about how you're holding your camera. Next time you take a photo of a friend or something else you want to post on Instagram, try at least one other camera angle. Compare the two. Which one do you like better? Why? I also want you to try practicing in your nursery. I'm sure there will be a toy or two that you can practice taking photos of. Try some overhead, some at eye level, move your camera, move your body, and you'll get a variety of different images that you might not know you're even capable of. And then I want you to send me some of those photos that you took. Send me the ones that you're really proud of and some that just didn't work. I'll give you some feedback on all of it. And I want to say, good job. You made it through the main course. There's one more bonus lesson which I highly recommend you watch. It's all about taking photos in the NICU. Sometimes babies need a little extra help at the beginning, and that shouldn't discourage you from telling part of their story with photographs. The next lesson is full of tips on how to get great photos in the intensive care nursery. So I'll see you in that bonus lesson.